Okay, it's not that bad. Oh shit. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The incredible disappointment that pretty much destroyed George Lucas's credibility until kinda Episode 3 came along, but still. I decided to take a look at this because, well, I actually saw a Blu-ray of it in Target and thought, is it really as bad as everyone says it is? I mean, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. So I got it, and how was it? Okay. It doesn't deserve all the hate it gets, but I understand that some of it is justified. For those who haven't seen it, The Phantom Menace details how a young Obi-Wan Kenobi and his master Qui-Gon Jinn found an even younger Anakin Skywalker, believing him to be the chosen one who is prophesied that will bring balance to the Force and eradicate the Sith, the users of the dark side of the Force. But, at the same time, they've got to deal with a blockade of the planet of Naboo, which is being surrounded by the Army of the Trade Federation, a group of industrialists who want independence from the Galactic Federation for better trade tariffs. Okay, it's a bit of a mess. Okay, that's a problem with the story. Instead of focusing on a lot of the stuff that people love about the original series, The Phantom Menace instead focuses much more on political intrigue and trade negotiations. Stuff that's really just going to bore anyone and everyone who isn't an accountant. What's worse is the movie constantly teases you with all sorts of cool stuff that's going to happen, but doesn't. Best example is on Naboo, where when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are underwater, you see all these giant CGI sea monsters swimming by, and it's really cool, and you're like, oh my god, there's going to be an epic battle with those things where they got to run away, I can't wait! And then another sea monster swims by and eats it. This happens 2 or 3 times. And you're just like, what the hell? Too many great moments and opportunities just are missed. And then there's the acting. Oh, lordy, the acting. Okay, not everybody here is bad, but there are some who are just shocking. The actor they got to play young Anakin, the child actor, he's just terrible. They could have found somebody far better just off the street. And Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon? Okay, he isn't bad per se, but given his current pop culture profile thanks to the Taken movies, it's just such a glaring uncanny valley effect seeing him play what's supposed to be a stoic, traditional, helpful Jedi. Because every time he's on screen I just think, okay, he's going to pull out his phone soon and tell someone he's got some skills and they better give his daughter back. The CGI hasn't aged too well either. A lot of scenes that rely heavily on the CGI just look dated and fake. But there are some moments where the CGI does still hold up, like the character Shabalba, for instance. The CGI used to render him still holds up remarkably well, and the moments where the CGI is used in conjunction with practical effects still look good, especially when, say, C-3PO, for instance. When he's on screen, he actually looks believable and realistic. It doesn't look bad at all. Now, the movie isn't as bad as I'm constantly making it out to be. It still has some moments that hold up and are good by both yesteryear and today's standards. The pod racing scene is one in particular. That's actually a nice adrenaline-pumping, action-fueled ride. Even if it is marred by, at times, by the worst character in the movie, Jar Jar Binks, but still, yeah, it's still good. And the fight between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan, okay, well, some of the effects used to help create it do look dated. It's still a decent fight, and there's also some nice analogous moments to scenes from the original trilogy, which are pretty nice and respectable homages. And despite the movie's reputation, it does actually have a lot of recognisable iconography. I mean, as soon as you hear the words Phantom Menace, what comes to mind? Darth Maul, red-skinned dude, black facial tattoos, horns coming out of his head. If a movie's got recognisable iconography where when you hear the name, you immediately think, oh yeah, I remember that, it's doing at least something right. But before I wrap this up, Jar Jar Binks, okay, he was the clearest indication that Lucas really needed an independent proofreader because Jar Jar is just horrible. He's one of the few things in the movie that has all of its hate completely justified. I mean, he doesn't contribute anything to the story. If you just took him out of it, the story would still go exactly as it currently is. But all he seems to do is just make some really juvenile poo and fart jokes that really aren't even going to entertain Adam Sandler's most loyal and youngest viewers. At the end of the day, The Phantom Menace isn't a bad movie, it's just an underwhelming one. I mean, if this was made first instead of the other movies, we'd all be going, well, that wasn't anything special. Which I think is why people hate it so much. Compared to what came before it, it is just terrible. But on its own, it's not bad, it's just 5 or 6 out of 10. And everything that's wrong with it can be summed up with how one character is represented. Darth Sidious, or as is later known as Emperor Palpatine. When he's pretending to be Emperor Palpatine, okay, you think, okay, nice, sweet, innocent guy, okay, cool. But when you see Darth Sidious, as he really is, you go, oh, come on, it's so clearly it's him. If they just put a rebreather mask and or synthesize his voice, it would have been a bit more believable, and things would have turned out for the better. If you're interested in rechecking The Phantom Menace out after all these years, yeah, fine. But if you choose not to and you still hate it, fair enough. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd just like to say that I've got some other movie reviews if you wouldn't mind checking those out, as well as some game reviews. And don't forget to subscribe. And I also meant to say, The Phantom Menace is actually one of the worst movies ever made. It's not worth watching at all. I gotta go.